We're here in Sarajevo, your hometown. You were born here. Your name is Edin Kukavica. Do I pronounce that correct?
Slightly different, Kukavica.
Kukavica. And you were born 1967 in Sarajevo. That's where we are at the moment. And you're a writer, a publicist, but also in a way an activist, I would say. You run this. Yeah, no worries. What will be the 8th of October be like for you personally?
Hopefully change. Hopefully change. This is not in 2018. It wouldn't be elections as normal elections used to be in normal country. It's going to be some sort of referendum to choose between two opposite concepts, to slowly go down or to go forward toward the European Union.
You see it as a decisive moment between going.
Oh yes, it is. 2018. We as you know, we have elections every 2 years. Every second year we are choosing between. Actually, every 4th year, but on every second year we have a community elections, and it's where people really live. What should people really be interested in? Right now it's general elections. We are choosing all levels of power, from the presidency to the cantonal level. As you know, we have 3 different levels of power in this country. More than 3, but 3 are on this.
You take the 3, yeah?
Take the 3, yeah.
Which is already complicated enough for every Western society to understand.
You will need whole show just to explain you it's a system which doesn't working in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We are right now in very serious situation, where 3 ethno-nationalistic narratives are going to separate or to tear it up Bosnia and Herzegovina between Bosniak Serbs and Croats, or to choose to go together in one as a whole, regardless of that how we are divided inside of Bosnia and Herzegovina, but as a BIH to go toward the European Union, or just to establishing rules which will move us forward, at least one step forward to European Union.
What I witnessed today during the pre-talk that we had with the group is that you're a harsh critic of the political system at the moment. You say at the one hand you have a left, which is mostly dominated by the SDP, the Social Democrats here, and on the other hand you have the ethno-nationalists, which of course with all the history that is of this country are always trying to play on the sentiments of fear, anger, the sentiment of maybe losing something. So I'm asking you, like the last election was 52% of voters turnout, which is quite honestly not a big number. Where's the possible change for Bosnia during these elections on the 7th?
First of all, we have to establish some way of speaking. We are going to talk about so-called lefties and so-called right parties, or
simplifications, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is, because all of these politicians, so many of them that we could freely say all of them, were just trying to establish control over the public resources, from the natural coals, water energetic potentials and so on, to the GDP budgets and working places. They already did it. And they are right now are trying to make stronger that control and to win power for the next 20 years. So all of these parties, so many of them, are trying to have the same goal. It's not a political power as such, but control over the public resources. So that's why we are talking about so-called lefties, and so-called righties.
What do you mean by controlling or gaining power of the resources? You mean like the public goods that we have or that you have as a Bosnian society?
All of public goods, look, water and air are probably the most expensive things in next quarter of the century. They are trying to control even our water and air.
How would they do that?
They will sell it to the foreign investors and make money of that. That's simple as that.
And that would be like your main critique, that this battle for natural goods that would normally belong to the whole society. No?
No, my main critique is on that is going to the system which is established by international community, and international community doesn't want to do anything to change the system which allow ethno-nationalists to rule to the day of resurrection. International communities, it's like anonymous, isn't it? Who is international community? They are the main source of all our struggle, all our problems. They established Bosnia and Herzegovina like this, give it to the hands of ethno-nationalists, and pull their hands back and leave everything to the local politicians to make the solution of the problems. Their problem, and who is the problem, cannot make solution of that problem. So my critique is pointed at the system as such, not to some persons or some political parties.
And you do have a quite difficult system as such. Like, it dates back to the Dayton Agreement also, that you have like different ethnicities that are blocking, or maybe...
Imagine we have 168 members of state administration. That's enough administration for the probably 4 countries like Bosnia and Herzegovina. And those are the serious voters. Those are the people who vote, actually. And they are not voting for anything else but for their jobs.
And as a German, I have to say, like I spent some time now, like 2-3 days, to understand, really talk to politicians, understand the political system. I have not quite figured out yet what and how you vote, but let's move on. Let's be positive about not knowing things also.
You know how the voting lists are in our country? It's so big. So big. You need 2 cabins for the voting, just to open that list and to find your candidate and to put some small cross on that.
We've learned that. Now I want to turn to another subject which you already mentioned. It's the ethno-nationalists. It's also part of your actual master's work, what you're doing. At the moment, I'm just going to read the title of this master's thesis. It's the deconstruction of the ethno-nationalists' narrative as a condition for the change of paradigm. So that means, if I understand it correctly, that ethno-nationalism has to be deconstructed in order to overcome this...
to establish another new paradigm for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Yes.
So, I have 2 questions, and the first one would be like, we see in Europe everywhere like that nationalists are on the rise, not only in your country, also in mine, also in Western countries. How would you deconstruct then nationalism now that you're like working on this? What have you learned? How would you deconstruct it?
This is just a theory.
I would love to hear about it.
It's scientific work. It's my master thesis, and it's, as my mentor said, it sounds very nice but very utopistic at the same time.
Yeah, let's give room for the utopia. Why not?
My view of solution problem is in citizens. I don't know the proper English word for that, but probably the citizens how do you call it? Just a moment.
Yeah.
Kako se kaže na engleskom otpor? Resistance.
The resistance.
Resistance. Dakle, citizens' resistance to the... For example, during the elections, we have two choices. To go and elect every person of Bosnia and Herzegovina, to go out and to elect their representatives. That would be the full democracy. Or no one go to elections. It sounds as scientific as utopistic, of course, at the same time. But those are two practical solutions of this sort of problem. At least first step on the way to solve the problem.
The first step, I like that. Yeah.
First step.
Can I ask you a personal question? Do you remember the first time you went voting?
First time? When I was... my first voting was a referendum for independence of Bosnia and Herzegovina. In 1990, if I'm not mistaken.
What was Bosnia like at that time?
Oh, it was so long time, 28 years ago. Bosnia was and Bosnia still is a beautiful country. Probably one of the most beautiful places in the whole world. We have so many things that people could not imagine. Look, these numbers of tourists who come to Bosnia and Herzegovina, finding so beautiful things here that we who lives here and who were born and raised here, we do not see them properly. Bosnia and Herzegovina has a lot of potentials in people, in natural richness, in water, in air, in mountains, in woods, in forests, in everything what you can and cannot imagine. Some people said that we even have oil because we have Muslims here.
What, pardon?
We have oil too because we have Muslims here, and Muslims are unimaginable without oil. So probably we have oil in this country. So we have everything for really normal living. We could be, even right now, 2 years from now, if we choose the right person or right persons, 2 years from now we could be very close to the middle, let's say middle developed European countries, on the way to be really modern, developed citizens, whatever good you can imagine in the Europe. We could be the example how it's possible to live in peace.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was like strolling around the city, seeing all the different cultures like mingling at one place. Your cultural place is, I think, a good example also of that.
No hatred among the people.
I think also that the division is more like on the political side.
Exclusively.
Exclusively.
Okay. Trust me. Just on the highest level of politicians or all politics, division is just there, on the highest level of policy, and on the underground. Some sort of sub-cultural groups. Divisions is just on these two.
Which groups do you mean? Explicitly?
Explicitly, it's some sort of righty extremists, lefty extremists, if there is such a thing. And on the highest level, as I said, the most part of the divisions are just among the politicians, even though they are very good friends among themselves.
So what I learned by talking to all these politicians this week from different parties, I think like the common sense, like the common ground for every party is that Bosnia will and should join NATO and the EU during the next 10
as possible. As soon as possible.
I think like everyone agrees about that. you wrote a book which is called Revolution, Evolution, the Handbook. Is that also part of your idea of a Bosnian revolution to join the EU, or is the way that you are imagining for Bosnia a different one? Or could there be a revolution by joining the EU?
That revolution that I'm asking, that I'm writing about is first of all revolution inside the people, inside the persons, inside of every single one person in this country, and in every ethno-nationalist corps in this every national corps. Revolution among the Bosniaks, revolution among the Serbs, revolution among the Croats, among the whoever else exists here. Just to think about Bosnia as our home country, as our home in full meaning of that word. Not to think about a Republic of Srpska, Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bosniak entity, Croatian entity, Serbian entity, and so on and so on. We need that revolution on the level of consciousness and awareness of Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is the first revolution, private, intimate, inside revolution. After that, everything would be. I didn't talk about.
So maybe the
revolution and so on. No.
It's an interior.
No. I'm a pacifist.
Very philosophical in a way. How would you feel like Bosnia joining the EU? Is that like in a way that what you also foresee for the country as a good thing, as a maybe a part of the solution of the?
It's the only solution. Joining the European Union and NATO is the only solution for Bosnia and Herzegovina at this moment, and in the next 25 years, 50 years, and for all our future. Unfortunately, it will take some more time than we like to talk about that. We cannot expect that Europe will receive us like this. What we can expect right now, and what we are begging for right now, just to help us to establish some rules, at least some rules and instruments to those rules makes works, just to establish responsibility for actions and non-actions, and that's at least what we are expecting from the European Union on this moment right now.
I'm wondering how your personal revolution looks like every day. What are you revolutionizing against every day?
I'm running the Bosnian Cultural Center here in Sarajevo. That's very important cultural institution in not just in Canton Sarajevo, not just in city of Sarajevo, but in Bosnia and Herzegovina. My revolution is on the level that I established contacts with similar institutions in Podgorica, Montenegro, in Croatia, in Pula, in Zagreb, in Croatia, and all around the region, and make cooperation on the level of cultural activities, in exchange of cultural activities that we have in all actually those three countries right now.
Why do you do that?
Why or what?
Why?
Why?
What's your motivation?
I'm a friendly person, you know. Ex-Yugoslavia was a small country for me. As much as Bosnia and Herzegovina is a beautiful country, but it's even smaller than ex-Yugoslavia, and I think that just to allow the main reason for that is to allow free flow of ideas from all around the region as it used to be before. I'm not Yugo-nostalgic, but
some people are.
Some people are. Some people are Ottoman nostalgic. Some people are Serbian kingdom nostalgic. Some people are Croatian kingdom nostalgic, and we have to accept our reality as it is. We are different countries, but let's make possible ideas to flow, people to flow, cultural activities to flow, just to exchange and to show each other that we are still normal persons.
Mr. Kukavica, it's getting dark. Maybe one last question concerning Europe. Once you might have joined the European Union, what would, how would you?
Be very old at that time, probably.
Will you still be alive?
I hope so. I hope so.
Okay. Let's imagine that you're still alive. In what kind of Bosnia will you be living in once Bosnia has joined the EU? Will all the problems will be gone, or?
No. Of course not. I'm
Rhetorical, yeah. Journalist question, yeah.
even I'm not that utopist. At least we will have rules. Right now, the main problem in our country, in my country, is that we do not have rules and respect of the rules. We have we missed that kind of responsibility for the spoken word, for whatever we do or did, and that's the root from the highest level of corruption probably in the whole region. I'm looking forward for a country of equal chances, equal possibilities for all people, regardless of that what is their name or religion or any other background. That's at least what I expect, not more than that.
Thank you for your time.
Is it too much?
Pardon?
Is it too much?
Oh, I don't know. How would I know?
Yeah, you have that in your country.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.